So this is the first recipe video of 2021, and I gave you guys the option of a breakfast, a casserole, or a dessert, and the winner by a landslide was the breakfast. So here we go. This is one of my favorite things to do. You can do it for one person, me, or an entire family. Just depends on how much you want to make. So we are going to do a breakfast dish with, I don't know what you call it, because I'm sure there's something that you call it, but I kind of just made it up like on my own. So I guess I should come up with a name, but nothing's coming to me. The ingredients for this are super simple. You're just going to need a potato, sweet or normal, a little bit of milk, some spinach, cheese. I didn't want to cut up a whole yellow onion because I only have one left and I'm saving it for something else later this week. So I just have a little shallot and an egg. And then, of course, your seasonings and spices or whatever you want to use. So I just have some chives to top it with, and then the three main staples: salt, pepper, garlic powder. First things first, you are going to want to preheat your oven to 350. Easy enough. We're going to need to get this sweet potato baked. You could do it in the oven, but that takes forever. And why do that when you have a microwave? So to get this potato ready for the microwave, I'm just going to pierce it with a fork a few times. This is a really good exercise to get any of that pent up anger that you might have for whatever reason out. Just to make sure you don't stab yourself. Oh, I did also wash this beforehand, so maybe do that. While I wait for that potato to get nice and ready in the microwave, I'm going to go ahead and crack open a cider. I know this is a breakfast recipe, but I'm making breakfast for supper, so this is perfectly acceptable, socially acceptable. Oh shoot. And then I've got my grain car operator therapy koozie that I had made. Perfect. Alright, so once you're sure that it's cooked all the way through, you're just going to dump it out on cutting board, and you're going to, well, I'm actually going to cut off this end piece because I don't like that. Ooh, that is hot. Okay, and then you're actually just going to cut it lengthwise. A little hot, just a little hot. Okay, so I'm actually going to save this half for something I'm doing later on this week. You only really need half of a potato for one person, or I guess if like you're very hungry, you can use both. So I'm just gonna set this aside to cool before I put it in the fridge. All right, on to the next part. We've got our sweet potato, and we're going to take just a bowl or small dish, and we're just going to scoop out the inside, leaving a little bit of an edge like all the way around. Ooh. When I was younger, I thought that I hated sweet potatoes because everyone that I knew always served them with cinnamon sugar, like something sweet, and I'm not really a sweet person. So I didn't find out till I was in my 20s that I actually love them if they're served with something savory. I'm just gonna scrape along the bottom to make sure you get as much of that good stuff as you can out. Alright, so then we've got the innards there, and we're just going to go ahead and mash them up a little bit. Then once we've done that, we're just going to pour a little bit of milk in there just to make it nice and creamy. We're gonna mix that in before we do anything else. Okay, we're gonna pour a little bit more. It's better to pour a little bit at a time because you definitely don't want too much. Ooh. All right. And the next thing we're going to do, we're actually going to put a handful of baby spinach in there, and I'm just going to rip it up a little bit, just so there's no huge chunks. And we're gonna go ahead and mix that in just so the spinach kind of starts to wilt a little bit with the heat of the potato. Otherwise, it's just too much spinach, if you know what I mean. So once we set that aside for just a hot second, we're gonna go ahead and chop up this shallot to put in next. If you were using onion or shallot, you could saute it and it would add a nice richness, but usually I'm not a morning person, so when I make this in the morning, that's really the last thing that I want to do. I want something somewhat quick and easy. We're just gonna give it a rough chop, and I'm actually only gonna use half of it. So we're gonna toss that in there. Ooh, maybe. And then the next step is we're going to add some mozzarella cheese. All of this stuff, I just kind of eyeball it for whatever I feel like. You can mix and match any of the ingredients. Actually, you know what I did forget? Bacon bits. Just one second. Holy cow, I can't believe I forgot that. That's one of my favorite parts of this. All right, I'm gonna toss a handful of real bacon bits in there. Okay, now we're just going to go ahead and mix all of that up. You could toss everything in at once, but that just gets to be a little too much to mix in, and try to keep it even. And then a little black pepper. I'm actually not a huge pepper person, so I only put in a little bit for flavor. Garlic powder. I love garlic, anything. So I usually put a decent amount of that in, and salt. I love salt. Okay, mix all of that up for one last time. I promise, that's the last time you have to mix anything. And then we're just going to spoon it back into our shell of a sweet potato. And then get my hair out of the way, because this is the most important part. You're going to want to take your fingers and kind of make a little boat out of this, the stuffing that you just made to go back in the sweet potato. Okay, so that's kind of what it's going to look like. And just make sure that each of these walls is pretty thick, because the next part you're definitely not going to want the egg to run out. Just one second, I'm going to wash my hands. Okay, the oven is preheated, so we just have to get the pan ready for the sweet potato. You're definitely going to want to put the sweet potato in the pan before you crack the egg in it, just in case you spill the egg while you're putting it in the pan. Trust me, I've learned from experience. I'm just gonna use a little bit of olive oil and drizzle it in the bottom of the pan. Just gonna let that run around so the bottom of the sweet potato doesn't stick. I'm just gonna make sure it's completely covered. And then all you gotta do is crack the egg right in there. And if there's any spots where egg is coming out, just kind of try to fortify the walls. And then you just put it in the oven until the egg whites are no longer runny. I kind of like the yolk part runny. That's just me, it's personal preference. So usually I'll put it in the oven for 20 to 25 minutes at 350, and by then it should be good to go. It's been in there for about 25 minutes and they finally set up, so it actually took a little bit longer than it usually does. But I think we're good to take it out of the oven now. Oh my goodness, it looks so good. Go ahead and turn that off before you forget. Okay, I can't really tip it, but oh, so amazing. It smells so good. So I'm just gonna take a little spatula here and go ahead and move it over to a little dish, plate, whatever you have. Just going to sprinkle just a few chives on it, mainly just to make it look cute. Honestly, I think I could eat this pretty much every day. All right, it's literally that easy. And like I said, you can make one for just you or enough for the whole family. Also, while I'm talking about food, so over Christmas, I did the Kid Care fundraiser and everyone sent in so many great toys and money and gifts, and I appreciate that so much. And I'm going to keep that wish list on all of my videos just in case you want to donate, that it will be there. But I feel like after the holiday season is over, food pantries and things like that, they don't really get the same amount of donations. People kind of forget about it and people really still need it. So I'm going to make another Amazon wish list with some goods and things like that, and then if you do want to donate, you can send me a check or donate to your own local food pantry. That would be amazing too. But like I said, this past Christmas, I don't personally need anything. I appreciate everyone who does send me stuff, but I've been so blessed. God has given me a really good life and a lot of opportunities to better my life. So I just want to take this opportunity to continue to pass on the kindness. Like I said before with the Kid Care, I do live in an area that there is a pretty high rate of unemployment and people living on welfare, and kids that even before this COVID thing happened that were on free and reduced lunches. So any little bit helps and we all appreciate it. So thank you guys so much for watching along. Let me know if you make this. Seriously, it's so good. Or if you have any other fun ideas for ingredients to put in there. I've put a lot of different stuff in there, but these are my go-to favorites. So thanks so much, guys.